Hey everyone, welcome to the show today, my so-called fabulous. I'm Tiffany and we are back for part 2. But if you haven't listened to part 1 from last week, let's go. I'm going to talk to you about this fabulous woman that I met on the internet, of course, social media platforms when birds of a feather kind of flock together. So we're in that same age bracket. But let me tell you a little bit about her. She is a best-selling author, podcast host, influencer, and fearless truth leader and teller. Sandra Silverman. After surviving a toxic marriage, and that's what we're talking about today, y'all, multiple makeovers, a complete life reboot, Sandy discovered something even more valuable than looking younger. She found freedom. Have y'all had freedom? Those of you that need to listen to this. Today, she inspires women everywhere to embrace the truth over perfection, find resilience through heartbreak, and realize it's never too late to begin again. In part 1, we talked about her first book. We talked about beauty, confidence, aging gracefully, aging with help. And more than anything, what both of she and I talk about is authenticity and being transparent. Today, we're going deeper into the story behind the smile, the heartbreak, the healing, the reinvention that inspired, are you ready for it? From bullshit to broken hearts. Welcome to the show, Sandra Silverman.
Thank you, Tiffany. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you so much for allowing us to do part 2 of your life and what's been going on. You know, we talked so much about all the things. We talked about beauty, the procedures you've done. How many?
So many, at least 25.
And so we talked about that and why she did it, which sparked this part 2, which is your fabulous book, From Bullshit to Broken Hearts. You've had your heart broken, haven't you?
Yes, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, and so many people have. I have multiple times, and I have talked to a few people. No, my heart's never been broken. Have you lost a pet? Have you lost a plant?
Yeah, of course.
You know, come on, let's be.
We've all experienced
Exactly. So let's just start. What inspired you to write this book?
So the first book was finished and I decided to write the second for women, because not everybody can relate to the first book in terms of like the procedures, and not everybody's going to go down that path, even though I talked about like the internal work that I had done and, you know, figuring out a way to finally love myself and realize that all this external work that I had done really didn't matter if I didn't love myself on the inside. So I alluded to a second book in chapter 9 of From Bullshit to Botox, because I didn't really talk about the marriage much in the book. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to talk about how that started and hopefully empower women who are in these relationships, in these toxic relationships, to see the red flags. So I have experts in this book as well, the same as From Bullshit to Botox. It's still humorous, same tone, with experts explaining each scenario that I talk about. The experts are coming in and explaining why this happened, how this happened, what the red flags are. For women who really are in these toxic relationships, it could be friendship or with a significant other, and they're not realizing it because they're in it. So hopefully women will read this book and see, wow, all these different patterns, all these different things that I experience, all the different patterns that my ex has displayed, and realize once you're in a relationship where boundaries are crossed, they never get better. They continue to get worse and worse. And the man continues to be bolder and bolder. The more that you forgive, the more that you put up with, the worse that it gets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's true. Once you see a red flag, you should run.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I didn't.
I didn't either. I mean, there's many times I didn't. I mean, and I don't know why, but if you listened last week, I think I didn't love myself. I really do. I really think I wasn't worthy. And so this is all you got. This is the guy that you got. This is it. This is the best. It's as good as it's going to get.
Which isn't.
Which is not true. Not true, because the wonderful Sandra is now dating a fabulous person.
Yes.
And it gets better. And it could get worse too, but you wouldn't allow
it could
that
get
way.
worse. Well,
yeah.
This time around, I know the red flags. So I was able to walk away from situations in the past couple of years. So my ex and I finally separated 2 years ago. And I dated a lot. So I was really in the jungle. I mean, and it's a jungle out
In
there.
Miami.
In Miami.
In Miami.
I dated people from all over, but living in Miami, Miami's a cesspool, basically. I saw red flags from people early on, so I was able to walk away. And then finally, I met somebody great who I do want to have a relationship with. I'm in a committed relationship, and everything is great. Took a lot to get there because after the separation, what I found was I hadn't healed from the relationship. So every person that I met was an extension of my ex. And I had so many. I had an Hamptons version of him. I had an Indian version of him. I mean, the list goes on and on and on because these are all extensions of him because I wasn't doing the work. So I started working with a relationship coach. Her name is Spicy Murray. She's amazing. And she made me realize we have this version, that version, and we have to make changes. Like we have to heal these wounds.
Because people, and I have friends that date the same
Yes, that's what's
person
happening over and over again.
and over. And my girlfriends and I are like, yeah, they have to pass this test with your girlfriends because the girlfriends will be honest with you for sure.
Which is smart.
Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Everybody should have a girlfriend test.
Absolutely. Okay, for those of that not listened to last week, tell us, just give us a synopsis of what happened with your relationship. You were very young when you got married.
I was young when I got married. I met him at 26. And like I said last week, the first incident was him telling me that my body was soft and I needed to go to the gym. That was a month into the relationship. And I really never thought that there was something wrong with me until I heard that. And then subconsciously, I thought, okay, I guess there is something wrong with me. And I guess I should go to the gym. Because at that point, I didn't understand what red flags were. I didn't know what narcissism was. I had no idea. I'm 26 years old, just living life and having fun.
Looking for love.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We started a business together early on. I was in the mortgage industry. He was in a different industry. And we had a conversation one night at his house. And I said, oh, I'm going to start my own. And he said, oh, I have the money to help you if you teach me. And I had all the connections. So we started this company that we still own in 1998. So now we're business partners. We're planning a wedding. And everything was okay, but it wasn't great. We had issues early on. We had broken up at one point, and to this day, he will use this as an excuse for all of his bad behavior. So we broke up. I moved out of his house. I hadn't given back the ring, but during that time, I met somebody else and went out with that person. And he had said, "Oh, if you meet somebody, you can't be romantically involved because." In my mind, we were done. In his mind, we weren't. So he found out about the other guy and decided that's cheating. I didn't look at it as cheating, but to this day, he still says that I cheated on him.
Cheated.
We weren't married. I had left because I still had the ring. And we were still working together. So he thought that was cheating. He still wanted to marry me. At that point, we had this business together. I agreed to it. I was like, okay, I'll still marry you. He brought that up when he started his bad behavior, and I would say like 5 years in to the marriage, that's when he started cheating. To this day, he'll say, well, you cheated first. I mean, is that really cheating? I don't know. And there were times I got violent with him. I wasn't the best. There were, I remember one time I threw an apple at his head and I had hit him a few times and he was like, oh, I'm an abused man. I mean, you're twice my size.
Right.
And I was angry for whatever reason. He would trigger me. He would push my buttons.
Well, of course, yes.
He told me my legs look like baseball bats. So yeah, I'm going to get angry. I'm going to throw something.
Right.
I'm human.
And you're young.
And I'm young. I don't act like that now. I would never do something like that now. But back then I was young. Of course, I made mistakes, but those mistakes cost me, according to him, because he would say, oh, well, I started down this path because you did this and you did that. Okay, fine. Cheat once or twice to get me back, but go down the path that this person went down. To me, that's a mental illness.
Right.
That's not getting somebody back.
Exactly.
And you're a grown man. You're twice my size. So if I even slapped you across the face, did it really hurt?
So how many years you are still married. You are still married
I'm
to
still
this
married.
man.
I'm still married. Our divorce should be final in January. Right now it's for tax
Yeah,
purposes,
yeah.
but yeah,
Right, right, right. So how many years?
27.
Oh,
27 that we were together.
oh my gosh.
27 years. And he started really becoming super disrespectful in 2009. In 2009, I was ready to leave. And our kids were young. They were 5 and 6. And I told my dad, I was like, this is what's going on. He stopped being intimate with me. My dad said, that's emotional abuse. You have to leave. And I didn't because at that point, my dad died. And when he died, I was not happy, of course, like really upset about that and not in a good headspace, grieving. And I stayed. And then over the years, I continued to stay. Didn't really want to break up the family. I felt lost,
Right.
not happy,
Not confident.
not confident. Of course, not confident. When someone tells you that, your body's soft, you need to go to the gym, tells you your legs look like baseball bats,
Right.
tells you they're not sexually attracted to you, that's going to ruin your confidence.
Right.
And that's what happened.
Right.
He would tell me all the time, I don't kiss you because I'm not sexually attracted to you. I don't want to be intimate with you because I'm just not sexually attracted to you. Like,
What do you do with that?
what do you do with that?
And if you're not having sex with your husband, someone is, right?
Well, he definitely was having sex with everyone, but I wasn't. I actually, and to this day, he still can't believe that I wasn't cheating on him. I think because he made me feel so bad about what happened before we got married that I didn't want to go down that path again, even though to me, I didn't really consider that cheating. But I mean, it was. And then there was one other incident where I had gained a lot of weight during my pregnancy. There was somebody that I had dated before I met him. He lived out of state. And I remember one day I was talking to my friend and she's like, come to New York, because, Baltimore and New York wasn't that far apart, and let's get our eyebrows done. She was going to this new guy for eyebrows and we'll go to lunch. And I wasn't feeling great because I just had my son and had 40 pounds to lose. So I told my ex, I'm like, oh, I'm going to New York today. Ashu has this new guy for eyebrows. I'm going to go up there. And he looked at me right in my face and he's like, eyebrows? I wouldn't be concerned about my eyebrows if I were you. I'd get to the gym. Look how fat you are.
Oh no.
So I thought, and during my pregnancy, he would call himself a whale watcher. So I thought, you know what? I'm actually going to see my ex. I'm going to call him. I'm going to see my ex and see if he thinks I'm fat. And I did. So a few months later, I did see my ex and he didn't think I was fat. And I told my husband that I saw him. And
Oops.
yeah, I
Yeah.
did tell him because it was like to get him back. But it wasn't like, oh, I really want to see this other person. But it was to make myself feel better because I felt so bad about myself.
Right.
And then, of course, I did body sculpting. After that, I got into the best shape of my life. And then he said after that, oh, I never thought you were going to recover. Like he wouldn't even give me an opportunity to recover from the pregnancy before he started insulting me. And he just went down a path of cheating that nobody would ever believe. And it's all in the book in terms of the behavior.
Right. Did you find yourself during that time not even caring if he did that because you didn't, you care because it's disrespectful to you, but just like whatever.
I don't think I ever got to that point. I think it hurt every single time I would find out, every single time I would catch him. It was very painful. We've had 4 separations. I just thought in my mind, because there were times where things were good, and I thought, okay, well, we're good. We've renewed our vows in 2021. It was never good. It was all fake. And I don't think the guy ever really even cared about me. I think it was fake from the beginning because I don't think that you could really love somebody and care about them and go down the path that he went down. Because at some point you got to look in your mirror and be like, I don't want to do this to this person. I care about her so much. Like, yes, I have a problem. I was upset about certain things, but to go down a path of 22 years
That's okay.
because you thought that I cheated on you in the beginning of the relationship and then I threw an apple at your head and slapped you once.
That's an excuse.
No, it's an
But
excuse.
why did you keep going back?
I kept going back. Obviously didn't love myself. I was scared to death to be out there and I didn't want to break up the family. And that scared me because I knew the kind of people that he would be with, the kind of person he's with right now that he dates. I would never want someone like that around my kids when they were young. Now my kids are older and they choose not to be around his significant other now. When they're 9, 10 years old, they don't have a choice. So who knows the kind of person he would have had around them, because the kind of person he has now, she's awful. So for me, that was petrifying to not be able to control that situation.
And that is it's so common, I hear, that you don't want to leave because of the kids, of course. And that is certainly a valid, unless there's physical abuse.
Yes.
I mean, of course, that's a
And there
different.
wasn't. So
And you were talking,
justify.
right?
Okay, well, it's not so bad.
Oh, yeah.
And that sort of thing. I weighed out the options, and for me, it was more important for me to protect my kids than myself.
Right.
Is that right? Probably not, but it worked. It was right for me. But I hope other people read this book and they don't stay. I hope people read my book and they think more of themselves than I did, to leave and love themselves way more than I did. Because
Right.
there is a good life out there for you. And I realize that now. Now looking back, I could have had so many great years with somebody else.
I have a friend, and she doesn't live here. I wish she did. She's married to a narcissist, 100%, and it's actually difficult for friends to be around this person.
Yes.
So, and it's not just like, oh, he's a narcissist. Her reasoning, of course, now the kids are gone, is I'll never have this life. I'll never have this lifestyle. I could not afford. I'd have to move into an apartment. I'd have to get a job. What do you say to those women?
I would rather be poor and work 3 jobs than to go back and live the way I was living. I'm so lucky that I don't have serious medical issues, because the way I used to shake was like my friends in Miami who I'd met said I was always shaking. They thought that there was something neurologically wrong with me, the way that I would shake. I would not want to, I wouldn't wish this on anyone, to have to live through what I lived through. And honestly would rather be poor.
Yeah. And that's true. And until you actually make the jump and do it, I've done it. It's not easy.
No, it's not easy.
And I was much younger, much younger, and not confident and not love myself. But correct, you're absolutely right. Especially later in life, you see a lot of people that actually do leave later in life because their kids, like you did, like my kids are finished. But your life is not over. We talked about that in last week's podcast. We're just, reinventing yourself too.
It just started, honestly. It started a whole new career. Now I'm in a whole new relationship. Everything to me looks so bright. I'm so happy. I found my happiness. I love myself. And all that happened in my 50s.
Yeah, and it's unexpected gifts that were given to you, that you gave yourself.
Yes.
After starting over. It is. It is. I mean, when you came in, you were telling me we have a commonality. We have Cabo in common, and you were telling me about your new love, and with excitement and happiness. I bet you 15 years ago, you didn't think you'd be saying that to
Never.
anyone, much less me.
Never.
Right?
15 years ago, I never saw this life.
No.
Never. I just thought, okay, well, this is
it.
this is it.
And it's not it.
No, it's not.
Yeah, just getting started. Yeah, absolutely. So, what advice would you give to these women, honestly, that just say there's no life for me after 50? We talked about it last week. But what would you say to these women? There's no life. I'm done. I've been a mama all these years. No one would have me. No one would hire me.
It's not true. And I'm working on my 3rd book right now.
Are you?
And the 3rd book is all about empowerment, how I started my business in 1998 with my ex, and the journey now, and how I started with social media, with writing the books, becoming an author. The whole journey is in the 3rd book. So I'm hoping that if women don't get anything out of the first 2 books, at least the 3rd book is more of an empowerment book and explaining the entire journey and how I was able to get from point A to point B, and and happy about it. And you can start anything that you want later in life. There isn't an age to start, an age limit to start a new career or a new relationship.
Absolutely. And at this phase of life too, whether it's with parents or partners, whether it's divorce, death, sickness, health, whatever the case may be, we all have challenges.
Yes.
And that book, Empowerment, is great for everyone.
Yes,
Because
it
we're
is.
all, we all have, we have great lives, but anyone that says their life is perfect is full of bullshit.
No, nobody's life is perfect.
It's actually
Nobody's
there. It
life
is.
is
There it is.
perfect.
There it is. Absolutely. So, what point of your life? Okay, I'm assuming during your marriage, you really weren't talking about all the things that were happening behind the scenes.
No, I was not. There were so many things happening. Every time I thought we were on a good path, something else would happen. I'll give you an example. 2017, we had just both of us did a plant-based drug called ibogaine. I did it for anxiety. He did it for his issues. We both had this great journey. I thought, okay, we're good now. Like we both did this. We are connecting, through this. We did this plant-based drug at this same time, and everything's good. Like we're being open and honest with each other. He said that he's never going to cheat again. He went on Facebook. And talked about how he was being dishonest and how he cheated for like 15 minutes and how people need to live an honest life. So I thought, okay, you're publicly talking about this. Like, we're good. We're not good. Fast forward. Now we did this whole ibogaine thing in February of 2017. Now we're October of 2017. I take the kids, they're 12 and 13, with their friends to Halloween Horror Nights in Disney. 5 of us are in a room, go to Halloween Horror Nights the night before. 5 in the morning, my phone rings. We have a Ring camera in our house that's connected to all of our phones, not just my phone, the kids' phones as well. The Ring camera is connected. 5 in the morning, there's a girl at my front door. The dogs are barking. He's upstairs sleeping. I say to the girl, I'm like, oh, who are you here to see? And she's like, oh, David Silverman. And I'm like, okay. So he comes downstairs. I said, oh, somebody's here at the door. And he's like, oh, wrong house. I'm like, no, it's the right house because
David Silverman lives here.
David Silverman, you live here. And he said, he opens the door, looks at her, and says, you're not what I ordered. This guy ordered a prostitute.
What?
To come to my home, and the camera rang to my phone, my kids' phones, wakes all of us up. I'm so embarrassed. The next day, my son's friend looked at me. The girl's name was Naomi. I'll never forget this. He goes, is Naomi Dave's new side chick? And I was like, no, it was the wrong address. And of course they didn't believe me because I didn't know what to say. I was so embarrassed. He kept calling that day. I didn't talk to him. I went back home and he's like, I'm going into therapy. I'm sorry. I was drinking and I ordered somebody, but it was a joke. And then this other girl showed up. I'm like, it wasn't a joke. You specifically ordered a prostitute to come to our home where we raise our kids. But this is just one story that I talk about in the book. There's so many. It's like girl after girl after girl. And a lot of them were non-civilians. The girl he's with now is a non-civilian.
Is he
pays.
addicted to sex? Is he?
He says no. He said that the therapist told him he's not a sex addict. So I don't know. I don't know what is going on. I don't know if it's self-esteem issues. But when you have somebody come to your front door, when you know that this camera rings to your kids, and he disconnected it after that. So he disconnected. I mean, it was humiliating.
Oh.
And I still didn't leave. Nobody in their right mind would have stayed after that.
Oh, wow.
And it just got more disrespectful and more disrespectful as the years went on. And we tried. In 2021, like I said, we renewed our vows. He met the girl he's with now that same year. So even renewing the vows didn't stop this guy. Like nothing was going to stop this guy. Nothing. He's a legend. He's a legend. Nothing is going to stop this guy.
Wow.
Like it's just insane. Now I call him, I changed his name in my phone to Poppy So now, because I just found out that he went into the hair salon. Apparently now his mistress and I go to the same hair salon, and somebody told me he was in there paying for her services. Like the stereotypical sugar daddy in Miami with the sugar babies. So now I changed his name to Poppy in my phone.
Which brings me, we were talking about this before the show. What in the world is going on with men that are in their 60s or whatever the case may be and subtract and are with these women that are so young? Girls, come on now. But what is going on? I mean, like you were saying earlier, and it's everywhere. I mean, we just experienced
The
it
girls
here.
want the easy way out and they don't want to work. They want to be taken care of. My ex is telling me, even though I know this girl is a prostitute, he says there's nothing wrong with her wanting to be a kept woman. Well, she hasn't had a job, maybe one job after college. So how do you account for all those years where she didn't work? Like her career is being a kept woman,
Right.
whatever, however you want to
Right.
describe it, sugar baby, it's all a form of prostitution. Girls are getting paid to go to dinners. They're getting paid for, sexual activity, and they want the easy way out. They want the nice bags. They want the trips, and they don't want to work. And the guys are willing to do it. So who's wrong? Are the men wrong or are the girls wrong? Because they want a lifestyle that these guys can provide. They don't care if the guy's 30 years older than them.
Can you imagine the podcast in about 20 or 30 years of those girls talking about all these things, or
I
not?
can't imagine.
Or not.
I can't even imagine. I couldn't imagine selling myself for money. Like I would literally scrub toilets. I would clean floors. I would do whatever it took to not sell my body
Of course.
for money.
After all of this, how in the world did you find it in your heart to trust again?
It's
Or do you?
I do.
Okay.
That's the crazy part. Like, I don't know. I think that I'm just really resilient. I have to be because there's no way I could have lived through this and be in my right mind. I mean, there were times where I thought, like, okay, I'm going to end up
Yeah.
in a psychiatric ward because this was insane. I mean, looking back now, I honestly don't know how I did it, but I must just be very resilient. And I do believe in love. I do believe in the fairy tale. I grew up watching fairy tales. And I finally found somebody and I do trust this person. It's
Wow.
crazy.
Wow.
I trust him 100%.
After my first, it was awful. I just didn't trust. I didn't want to trust. I just refused. And even my husband now, he believes in marriage 100%. And I'm like, I'm not doing it again. I'm not doing it. And I love my husband. He's the love of my life. But I still say, I won't do it again. I won't do it again. That's just me standing on a hill screaming at the top of my lungs.
You won't get married again? But this is your second?
This is my third.
Third.
Yeah.
I want to get married again. Well, it's my second, but I do want to get married again.
Yeah.
I
That-
believe in the institution of marriage and I believe in the fairy tale.
That and girl,
I don't know how. I don't
go,
know how. Honestly, because after people read this book, they're going to look at me and just
How?
think, how in the world?
Correct.
Which is she not like living under a rock and crawling into a hole? But I guess I'm just resilient because I believe in it.
well, yeah, and you kept going back and you kept wanting it to
I
work.
wanted it to work so badly. The last thing that I wanted on this planet was to break up the family, to not be together, to not be a unit. I didn't want it at all. Like I fought so hard for this marriage. I fought so hard. And even at the end, when the day he was leaving, this is how he left. He left. We own a house in Idaho. We were there on a family trip. I had no idea that he was leaving again because we had gotten back together. We were planning a trip to Italy for our 25th anniversary.
Oh gosh.
We took the kids out on a boat. We went to a restaurant. We came back. He took a shower. We were supposed to go to dinner and he said, I'm leaving. Don't try to stop me. Don't try to save the marriage. I'm like, we're on a family trip. He left everybody, left the kids. They had their boyfriends and girlfriends there. It was so embarrassing. Took off and that was it. He's like, I'm going back to Miami. I'm moving out of the house. He purposely got me there just so he could leave, just so he could go back to Miami and
Control.
and left the kids, didn't care. We had family friends that were coming the next week to play. Our friend was playing in a golf tournament with him there. He didn't care that they were coming. He didn't care that the kids were there. He just left. That's how he left for the last time. And I told him, I said, if you leave this time, because I kept taking him back, I am done. I'm filing for divorce. I'm blocking you, and we're never working this out. And I meant it.
Yeah.
And he's not blocked anymore because unfortunately I
Right.
broke my
You
wrist
need
and
to
my
communicate.
tailbone, and he showed up at the
Yeah, yeah,
hospital.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
and it's kind of hard to block somebody that you
Yeah.
work,
Yeah.
you know, you have a business
Father
with.
your
But
kids too.
yeah,
So how are the kids with their dad? They understand how you.
they've accepted it, and of course they love their father, but they also know that there's something seriously wrong, and they've accepted it.
Right.
They accept him for who he is, and which is great. I have kids that my two kids are they have so much integrity. They're great.
Right.
They mentally they're good.
Okay, so you filed for divorce. You're single. What are you doing to date people? Because that's what people want to hear. Like you have a relationship, but how do you meet people, especially at our age? How is it the apps or I mean?
I met people, okay, a couple of different ways. The third separation, I signed with a matchmaker. We got back together, so I paused the account. So the fourth separation, I called them and I said, look, I'm ready. Let's do this. So they reactivated my account. That was one way. I didn't connect with anybody through the matchmaker. I went on some dates. I didn't like anybody. And they were nice guys, so that wasn't the issue. I was not on the apps at the time for almost 2 years. I just randomly, organically met people either through other people. I would meet them at parties. I met them all over. I met somebody in an elevator, wherever. I would just meet them. I didn't have a problem meeting them. The problem was finding somebody, a quality person that I could connect with. Easter Sunday, I was in Cabo with friends from Mexico City. They had a Easter brunch, and this person showed up at the brunch that I'm with now. So we met through mutual friends.
Organically.
Organically.
The old school way.
Yes. So a lot of the people I met, it was organically. I just didn't connect with anybody, but he and I connected pretty quickly. I did, however, sign up for Raya. I got accepted on Raya the day before I met my boyfriend. Finally, after a year and a half. I saw what was on Raya. To me, it's like a hookup site. So for me, I didn't think that was good. I will tell your listeners, one good site was The League. I didn't connect with anybody on The League, but there were I had the app and there were good guys on The League, and they seemed serious. They seemed like they wanted to meet somebody, not just like a hookup.
Right.
They seemed very serious. Like they seemed like good guys.
The League.
The League.
Okay.
I did not pursue any of them, but I did look. The other sites I don't really know about, like
Right.
Bumble, Hinge, Tinder. I don't really know about those.
Me either.
I'm not really sure. But I just met people basically organically.
Right. I met my husband. He, in 2009, there was no apps, nothing like that. Met him. He hired a headhunter to find the love of his life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he found it.
And it worked.
And it worked.
That's smart.
He did. He did.
A headhunter.
He did. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, almost like a matchmaker.
Yeah. Yeah. Old school matchmaker.
Yes.
And that's what he did. And because he's like, I'm tired of going out with people's friends and I don't like them and then they get mad at me and what's wrong with her and everything.
Right.
But yeah, it worked. It really worked. And I didn't believe in it because I had such a horrible relationship before. And not with my husband, just who I was dating, a narcissist.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and it does work. It really does.
I also think when you're meant to meet the right person and you're ready. So by the time I met AB, that's my boyfriend, I was ready. I was done with the jungle. I'm like, I've done all this work on myself. My frequency was much higher. So I was ready to meet somebody that matched me.
Right.
You're not going to meet that person. If you haven't done the work, I don't think you're going to meet the right person until you do.
I love you said that because that's what people need to hear. When you're just so, I remember it's a phase of my life. I had to have a boyfriend. I had to have it, have it. And I wasn't ready. I didn't love myself, And then when I met Greg, I said I wasn't ready, but I was ready. And he landed in my lap. I lived in Austin. I mean, he lived here in Fort Worth. It's just bizarre, And
Because
just,
you were ready
we're
and
ready.
it was the right time.
Exactly. But I know, and I know people say, oh, I'll never meet anyone. I'll never because you're not ready, and you're
Right.
and that you haven't your worlds haven't collided. So
When you're open and you're ready, that person's going to come along.
absolutely, and that's what people need to hear. And I'm so glad you said that. So thank you for sharing. Good
Thank
grief! I
you.
wish you the best.
Thank you so much.
I hope I get to see you when you're in Colorado.
Yes.
Yes, I hope
You
so
will.
too. And meet this gentleman.
Yes, he's amazing.
He
I'm
must be.
very lucky.
Okay, well, both of you are. So
Thank you.
Okay, so how can we find you? And of course, everything's in the show notes as well. But
So I have a website, Sandra Silverman. Instagram is Sandra Silverman. My first book, From Bullshit to Botox, is on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. And the second book will be released hopefully in September. And that's From Bullshit to Broken Hearts.
so fun.
Oh, and my show, Party's Over.
That's right.
Yes.
She's a fellow podcaster
Yes, the party.
as well.
It's called Party's Over Show, and that's on YouTube.
Well, I am so honored that you came to Texas to see me.
Thank
We've been
you.
planning this for a
Yes,
while,
this
for
is
sure,
great.
and how we met and finally. And I hope to see you in the future. And-
Yes,
and
you
thank
will.
you for sharing. I mean, you talk about transparency over here with the bullshit.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, everyone. You remember, there's always love out there for you when you are ready. And I say this every single week. I always do. Keep being fabulous.